to the extent that the debt ceiling is mentioned, I've seen it mentioned in two places in the media. One is in that radio I listened to in the morning to see how the AP is reporting it. And in just the way they were reporting this like a week ago, debt crisis, as if it's not a completely manufactured crisis. This is not a crisis in the sense that it is like a crisis has evolved. No, this is the Republican Party attempting to leverage the debt ceiling to impose cuts on basically programs that keep people from being malnourished, unhoused. I mean, I could just go down the list. And on the other hand, we have a Democratic Party, or at least the leadership of the Democratic Party, refusing to approach this attempt by the Republicans in the most common sense way possible, which is to say, you know what? The 14th Amendment says that we don't even have to pay attention to this. There's no hearings here. Or we could mint the platinum coin. There's many other things.
Tax rich people?
You do not need Joe Manchin to sign off on this like you did in December. You just simply need the administration to say, you know what? We're just not going to play along with this. And instead, and there's some people who say like, oh, well, they're doing this on purpose because they want to make these cuts. The Democrats do. I mean, I don't think that they're concerned enough about being forced to make these cuts, but I don't think they would have made these cuts on their own. There's just simply, there's no logic to it. Why pass a bill that would increase these budgets and then allow them to go back? There's no political benefit to this. And certainly, like, Wall Street only cares about the debt ceiling being raised, period, end of story. And if we do it through the 14th Amendment, they'd react in the exact same way. And the reason why I'm talking about this as a cave, or the only other place I saw this was some Instagram thing where like some like a financial guy who looked like he was like 22 was trying to get people to subscribe to his channel and was talking about the debt ceiling as if it's like the secret thing that's happening. And if it's a secret thing that's happening, it's because the Democrats have not been able to message this. And really, if they can't message it to their voters, it has no political value to them, one way or another. You simply let the Republican Party take the responsibility for this. And for creating supposedly this massive economic, and I say supposedly because I do think it will, if we somehow don't pay our debt, yes, it will create an economic disaster. But the way that we can resolve that is by just paying our debt and saying that we have the authority to do so under the 14th Amendment. Ryan Cooper over at the American Prospect this morning wrote a good piece on what the implications are if Biden signs on to this 2-year spending cap. Now, we don't know exactly what's being negotiated, but I can tell you what I read in Politico. As a reminder, plenty needs to be hashed out, because they're talking about, like, there's positive signs from the debt ceiling talks. One, the duration of any spending caps. Not whether there's going to be spending caps, but rather the duration of any spending caps. Remember when Biden said, I want a clean debt ceiling bill? What he was really saying is, I want to pretend like we have a clean debt ceiling bill. And then I will, some spending caps. 2, how much unspent COVID money to claw back? 3, the substance of the permitting deal. That is Joe Manchin coming back in. He couldn't get it into the IRA. Remember that deal he had made, and they were going to give it a vote. They gave it a vote. It got shot down. Now he's going to stick it into this bill.
Who also, announced last week that, if he doesn't get what he wants here with how the IRA is being implemented, will block all new EPA nominees.
Right. Work requirements for Medicaid, and Biden's supposedly going to hold the line there, although he bragged about how I was in favor for it during the Clinton welfare reform, which everyone universally agrees was garbage.
It's so sick that we have this budget thing and that we're going to balance it off of things like that. It's just really perverse.
And just the term in which this debt ceiling is going to be raised. I mean, this is just insanity. So, okay, here is what happens if we get those spending caps. Ryan Cooper. If you cut discretionary spending to the level of fiscal year 2022, cap the rate of increase at 1% per year for an indeterminate period, maybe 2 years. This is what's being floated. This is what it would do. I mean, aside from politically saying, hey, if you can hold these hostages, we've just given another year where we allowed this, we didn't go with the 14th Amendment, we didn't go with the platinum coin, which is basically saying, like, this is ripe for the pickings every time. Again, we don't know all the details, but as Ryan Cooper writes, returning to fiscal year 2022 budget levels would mean an immediate cut of 13% to every government agency and program. If defense and border cops are exempted from that across-the-board cut, then the cut will be closer to 22%. Representative Rosa DeLauro, Connecticut, on the House Appropriations Committee, solicited estimates from various government departments on what a 22% cut would mean. 60,000 people would not be able to attend college. 200,000 children would get kicked off Head Start. 100,000 families would lose childcare. 1.2 million would be removed from WIC nutrition assistance. 125 air traffic control towers would be shut down. Rail safety inspections would be cut back by 11,000 work days. 30,000 miles of track going uninspected. 640,000 families would lose rental assistance. 430,000 more would be evicted from Section 8 housing. That's just a sampling. I mean, to the extent that there's any really outcry about this, it's coming from Democrats in the House, and there's just not much going on in terms of supporting this. I know every time I have a conversation with, and I feel like once a weekend, I have a conversation with somebody where I talk about we cut child poverty 35-40% in 2021 to 2022.
And you wonder why that's not plastered everywhere,
You hear
neon signs.
Zero about it.
Because the donors don't like it.
Honestly, talk about low-hanging fruit, right? We're not talking anything really structural here at all. We're not talking about, some type of marginal group of people that it's somehow, controversial. We're talking about child poverty. Honestly, you could come up with something that sounds even more sort of beleaguered. I don't know, sick puppies or something, but I don't know. That's arguable.
Yeah.
But we just don't have a body politic in this country that seems to care about it.
Well, I mean, I think it's that, the leaders of the party, they want it. They can say all they want, but we got rid of it, and then they have it again now. And that was a policy decision because, I think, and look, I know that the Democrats would have done this unless forced to, but I don't think they genuinely care. How is this easier to do than raise taxes?
Yeah, the assumption always should be, and always is, that they don't care. It is that they have a constituency that does in some instances,
right,
and they force them to do the right thing. That is the way to look at politics. It's not whether you like this person, or you can trust this person or whatnot. You can't make those assessments. All you can do is you have politicians who get their votes from one pool or another pool. And if you vote from that pool, your actions can, not necessarily, can influence the actions of those politicians. They will de-emphasize things they don't want pressure on. There's just no constituency in this country that cares enough to defend children who are in poverty to make enough people aware of it that it becomes an issue. And, I don't know the solution to that. I don't know how many times a week I bring this up.
Because there's countervailing stuff in states where Minnesota, different states passing these, North Dakota actually getting around to it again, even despite Republicans controlling that stuff, the Democrats are pushing it again. And that does seem to be good politics on a state level. I just don't know why national. And I saw Ilhan and they proposed some stuff too with regards to school lunches. We should be massively expanding this stuff.
Without a doubt.
It should be good politics. But
without a doubt. It could be good politics. It's just that I don't know. To the extent that there is anything on the left that is happening, from the center left to the far left, there's just no focus on this. Now, frankly, if everybody listening to this program was a self-avowed communist, I'd be like, well, all right, you're not engaging in necessarily these day-to-day issues. You want structural change, period, the end of story. There's a lot of people who don't really care or think about structural change, and you would think that cutting child poverty, we did it.
That's a structural.
It was easy. It was easy. It was easy. It was literally easy.
And that cuts the stakes for any sort of future labor action. So that would be a structural change to get rid of the fact that we sentence children to poverty in this country if their parents don't find the right boss.
It's insane. It's insane. But keep an eye on this debt ceiling thing, because it's just going to immiserate more people. And Biden claimed that he learned a rule from the Obama administration. I don't know what they think they get out of this politically, to pretend like they did and then they don't. It's just there's just a tremendous amount of incompetence. Wasn't there a new House Minority Leader elected? Does he still exist?
He's touring.
Is he going on tour?
Yeah.
Summer concert season, so maybe he's just, I don't know, following Fish or something like that. Is that Hootie and the Blow? Who are those guys?
Dead and Co. or Fish?
Yeah, Dead and Co. It's the final year, I think, for their tour.